And we're off to the races. Yes.
Found the record button.
Zoom did updates, and here we are. So,
Always good.
all right. So, everyone's back. Here we are. And Casey's going to be shaving her head again. Even though your hair is so beautifully purple.
It is.
And all the things.
We finally got it back to purple, and I'm gonna shave it all off. But it is time. as
I feel like,
Rafiki
yes.
would say.
Yes. And it's right at a perfect time of year too, because it's right before summer kicks in. So you're going to have a nice, cool head for the hot weather that
You would be
is on the
I
horizon.
mean you might not be surprised. I don't know, but I've said this before that it was surprising to me how much cooler I am without hair.
Well, they say, what is it? The most heat, you lose the most heat through
In
your
your head,
head.
right?
So
And
it
the
makes
other
total
thing too is
sense.
that like when it's not so much, well, even when it's this short, but like obviously when it's much shorter, I don't
Yeah.
know if guys have this happen because they live mostly with short hair, but um, I'll need like beanies and stuff just to go into like a grocery store because they have it like so air conditioned that like
Mhm.
beanies have to kind of be kept not year round, but more frequently than you would imagine because you just get
Yep.
colder and but the heat isn't there as much.
No. Yeah.
Especially when you can keep it off your neck. Because right now I do have some on my neck, and that's you
As
see, I see it.
Yes, as someone who also has had a pixie,
Yeah.
this length for me is very hot all the time.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's amazing how much cooler I feel with a pixie. So
Yes,
but all in due time, eventually my head, you know, my hair will get cut. So but we have an exciting episode today, don't we?
we do. I think we do. It's also we're recording at a different time, so this will be an interesting. I'm going to call
Yes.
that out in advance in case it does get a little sideways because it's almost bedtime here on the East Coast.
Yeah, so we're going to cross our fingers and hope for the best. But I think what's going to make this easy is that we're talking about something that you're really passionate about today.
Yeah,
And not only that, but like we have to give a shout out because, and I don't know, Casey, if you want to give a quick rundown to our
yeah.
listeners and viewers of like why we're even doing this episode, and what kind of led us here today. So
Yeah, so I think it was probably in the mix of our conversations to do this, just because it is a
yep,
big thing for me every year, and
yes,
there will be a transition between this week and next week of hair this week, no hair next week.
yep,
So it kind of deserves to be talked about a little bit. But we also, by way of one of my connections on LinkedIn, heard of Podcasthon. I hope I'm saying that
yes,
right.
Podcasthon,
Um,
yep,
and so they're the first charity uniting podcasters worldwide that highlight different charities that matter sort of individually to them. And the podcasters all put their links on this site. So you can go there. We'll link it down in the show notes below.
yep,
And you can kind of hear about different charities out there around the world and what other podcasters are doing to
yeah,
help folks. So ours is featuring St. Baldrick's and the St. Baldrick's Foundation, um,
yes.
as we will call it, St. Baldrick's.
Yes, yes. And it's a big event. I myself came down the year actually that you got married because it was the big year. The marriage, the shave the
Yeah,
head, I think it was one of your biggest fundraising years,
I
wasn't
think
it?
it was the biggest still
Yeah.
to date. Yeah, um, we
So
raised 26,000 that year.
insane.
Um,
I
yes,
just
that was I mean, they're all nonstop years, but that was a big year. So
yes,
had
yes.
19 inches of very long purple hair. Got married
Hmm.
on a Thursday. Yes, I think it's a
Yes.
Thursday. And shaved it all off on a Saturday. So not
Yep.
even really 2 days after we were married. And it was a big part of pretty much everything we did. It's a big part of everything we do, but it was a very, very big part of the
Yeah.
wedding and sort of the lead up. And um, I often say that I was not really at all nervous for the wedding. We started the wedding early. We were ready to go. It was like,
Yep.
let's do it.
Hmm.
But the nerves for the shave came the night before. So they crept in on the first shave eve.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but as my husband told me then, it is superhero hair and it is going to do
Yep.
some great things for kids battling cancer. So the St. Baldrick Foundation is a wow, my brain just stopped.
It's
Again, we're
okay.
recording later. The St. Baldrick Foundation is one of the top funders of children's cancer research around the
Yes.
world. So they do some really
Yeah.
great work helping to fund better, safer treatments for kids battling cancer. Something I learned, I've been doing this now for 16 years, volunteering for 16. I've been shaving. This will be year 9 for shaving. But something I learned very early on was that children's cancer is really not as rare as many people think it is.
Yeah.
And the funding for it is painfully low,
Yeah.
sadly, because there isn't a lot of profit monetarily
Yeah.
from it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
between the government funding, some research, this is sort of a gap filler for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we have a lot of statistics and we'll probably put those also in the show notes
Yeah.
because we want to obviously get this kind of information out. One of the big things that I'm excited about today is because I get to almost like interview you about this whole
A little
experience,
bit. Yeah.
which is not my forte necessarily, but I'm really great at being curious and asking really good questions. So
Which makes her a really
so
great interviewer.
right. So I may not be Oprah or Barbara Walters, but we will do. So but what I'm really curious about, because I know this story, but I feel like our listeners probably don't. So well, most of our listeners, but I want to hear a little bit about like how this all started. Like what got you here? What was kind of the thing, the spark
Yeah.
that kind of led you along this journey?
So I mean, going back 16 years now. So I was a baby myself. I was a photographer at the time, so I was photographing mostly weddings and portraiture and things like that. And a friend of a friend of a friend, I think one of those 6 degrees of separation,
Yep.
had posted that he needed a photographer for an event. I did not know a whole lot about it, but I connected with him over the phone. He kind of had me at like it's around St. Patrick's Day. It's got a great first responder support system built into it. It was started by 3 firefighters who sort of all challenged each other to raise money, and as they raised money, they would shave their heads for children's cancer research. I come from a first responder family, so that was
Yep.
a big sort of draw for me. And I'll be honest, like just the idea of like a fun St. Patrick's Day event, green beer, like that kind of thing, and going to a great cause, like heck yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I drove down. So I'm in Central Florida. This was out on the east coast of Florida, about an hour away, give or take. Drove down for the day, um, captured the event, saw 2 women go bald, and thought I could do that. I think I had like shoulder length. That was kind of like
Hmm.
my 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 look back then.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Was it
and
pink and blonde
it
at
was
that
not. No,
time?
I mean this is even before I mean that's
Okay.
how long ago this was.
Okay.
The first is a whole nother podcast. The first time it got any vibrant colors was Halloween of 2012, I think, or
Okay.
maybe Halloween 2011, might be
Okay.
2011, but it was definitely the first St. Baldrick's was before that happened. Again, there's
Yeah.
a story there, but it's a different day. So I did not go bald that day because I was again just there to cover an event. I was there by myself. I thought if I go home bald, everyone is going to think what has gotten into her.
Right.
And I did, you know, I did tell the event organizer though, like I'm coming back next year. I don't even think I waited for the invite. I just said I'm coming back next year. I'm doing this again. And it was just such a great event, like such a great community, such a great vibe. It's obviously a very sad and heavy cause, but
Yeah.
when people come together and, just put all their energy into doing something so great. It all just kind of really, I mean, it's just infectious, really.
Yes.
And so I went
Yeah.
back the next year. I brought a friend with me on year two. On year three, we came back as a team, an official team for Team Live Out Loud in memory of Kelly. My dad
Which,
and
by the way,
Sean.
you're wearing your
I am.
sweatshirt. I feel like we should
Yeah.
get a shout out of the sweatshirt. Yes.
Yeah. It's this one's almost an antique too. It's
Yeah.
starting to look a little beat up.
Old school.
Uh, I should have dates on everything now at this point.
Right?
Um, but yeah, so my dad and Sean were the first two to sign up to join the team and go bald. I had told them on that second year that they could have my hair, but they had to wait for me to get married. Sean and I were not even dating at the time, so again, that's how far back that goes. We started dating a few months after, and we got. I mean, it took us until
Yeah.
2018 to actually get married. So Sean, God love him, he had to deal with many years of people poking him and egging him on because
Yes.
they just really wanted my hair. Yeah, we just got it started pretty small. I think the first year there was maybe 5 or 6 people that joined the team,
Hmm.
all really close friends. Um, and uh, every year sort of just it was like a snowball going down a hill. Got a little bit
Yes.
bigger and a little bit more. I think the first year, I think total we raised like maybe $2,000 or $3,000. I know myself personally, I raised 600.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's good. Like I didn't even shave my
Right.
head. That's a pretty solid
Yeah.
amount. And we just kind of kept showing up. And
Hmm.
as we were engaged in 2017. Had to hold people off one more year because we were engaged in February. These events are in March. So they thought, surely we're getting her hair in 2017. I said, not so fast. I still need to get married. That was the whole
Yep.
thing. And so for 2011 to 2017, I photographed those events. I was a lead photographer for those events. So there's actually still, I just saw some of the photography that I took way back in the day, still like kind of
Hmm.
circulating on the website and stuff. I was like, oh, I actually took that photo. Haven't seen that one in a minute. Um, and yeah, in 2018, we got married, then went bald. I think the big lead up there was that a lot of people had told me I had basically been watching every woman go bald for those
Yeah.
7 years or so. One, looking for a woman that it didn't work on. It worked for them all. And there were, I think
Hmm.
we counted, I think there were 200 women that I eventually photographed going bald. I don't think
Wow.
that, I'm pretty sure that's the number. Um, and they all looked amazing.
Mm.
There's just something that happens when that hair comes off, no matter the length, no matter what it looks like.
Yes.
Faces just kind of pop. Um, and I was also looking to see who the top fundraisers were each year and how much I'd have to get to be a top fundraiser because I knew for someone who's not good at numbers or math, I was mentally each year kind of doing tallies in my head of like, what do I have to do to like, I knew I wanted to go big.
Yeah.
The number basically wound up being 20,000 to strive for. And I remember having people tell me like, you're just, it's really hard to do, like almost
Yeah.
trying to talk me out of it in a lot of ways. Um, and I was just a pain in the ass about it. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. Like it's going to happen. Uh,
Yeah.
and we've done it a couple times now. I mean, there's been 2 years that at least 2 years that we've done at least 20,000.
Yeah.
And every year since 2018, we've done at least 10K. Um, so it's yeah,
Which is
there's a few
just,
years where it kind of ebbs and flows a little bit, but we're
yes.
inching towards
Yes.
200,000 raised. So this year, I think we're just 1,000 shy now of 200,000 raised over all those years, which is
I
still at it.
I am always in awe at like hearing that. And one of the other things, like I'm in awe by all of this, to be honest. And there's a multitude of reasons why, but I think one of the most profound moments is that moment when I was standing in the audience watching you
You were
literally
filming.
get
You
shaped.
were, I don't know if
Yes, I
a
was
lot of people
filming it.
actually know that.
Yes,
You were
yes, I
doing
was
the
filming.
live feed of my
Yep, and
shave that
I'm
year.
literally there with my camera, just
Mhm.
bawling my
Yep.
eyes
There's a
out
photo, I think, of
because
you and my sister, like both crying, like doing like
because
photos of.
it was such, it was so crazy because you do like that pop of that face
Mhm.
that you see when that hair goes away. And you just realize, like, it's so weird because you kind of have this like moment of like, just you're in awe of the person and
Yeah.
the beauty. I mean, I'm biased because you're my best friend, but I think you're
Mhm.
stunning. But then you remove the hair and it's just like, oh my gosh. And luckily I got to do your makeup the day after when you did do the shave and everything and you guys retook all of
When I
your wedding
forgot my makeup.
photos. Yes. And I got to redo and I was like, oh my gosh, like just amazing. And luckily we're about the same kind of skin, everything.
Mhm.
So it really came together flawlessly. But to hear how much you raised, to see you show up and go through that process, to see people just in the audience just screaming and celebrating and all of this, I'm blown away every single time. And it's just amazing that I know one of the big things that I was going to say, because here's my ADHD popping in and out, is the piece that you did one time was you went through and you actually pulled the entire, like, how much people donated and what was the quantity of money that actually made
Yeah.
up the majority of your donations, and wasn't it
Yeah.
like small amounts?
Really small amounts.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I've done it for a few years now. I just kind of I don't do it every year as calculated as I was for like those first few years. It was like 2018, 19, 2020 might have fallen off a little
Hmm.
bit. But those first 2 years for sure, I went through and I basically had a spreadsheet of, again, surprise, surprise, I had a
Yeah.
spreadsheet going of all the donation amounts and how many there were, and how we could divvy them up. And that's when it dawned on me that this part of the story was, I think a lot of people, especially since like we work in tech and
Yep.
they think just big numbers come through from that, and sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm very appreciative of them. There's also
Yes.
matches from a lot of those companies that come through and help.
Yep.
And working at some of these companies, they match like some of the hours donated and things like that. So there are some things like that certainly help. But a lot of it was just people I've known throughout the course of my life, that my family has known, friends, strangers sometimes, um, handed me $5 here, $10 there. I think the first year, 2018 for sure, I went through and it was really, I wanted to know where like most of the money came from. And I think like 90% of it was $100 and under.
Mhm.
And I forget the percentage now, but an overwhelming majority of that was under $50.
Yeah.
So it was mostly those smaller donations. It was just a lot of donations, a lot of people caring and giving what they could,
Yep.
like I
Yep.
said, $5, $10 here. And so
Yep.
that's a lot of it's very grassroots. It's just kind of getting out there and um, hammering people over the head sometimes
But you
in a
have to do
lovingly
that,
fun way. Yeah, especially when you're doing it on social, it's a moment in time.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was just kind of going through that and seeing like it surprised me even
Yeah.
that I was like, oh, okay, like wow, this is a big part of the story where um, you know, people are just giving what they can. Now there's they also can do like monthly donations. So I have a few friends that'll do that where it's, 25 a month or something like that. And um, in their eyes, it's a relatively small amount of money, but each month that adds up. And
Yep.
at the end of the year, it is almost what jump starts the beginning of fundraising season each year. Is those
Yes.
those folks that keep that going. So it's really it was not I did not do that intentionally, but it has been like a really great thing to come from it, to see like the community part of it. Um,
Yeah.
because I can be the loudest person, on the top of the mountain, but I don't have I don't have 5, 10, $25,000 every year. Like,
Right.
there's not,
Exactly.
there's not that money coming through, especially not
Exactly.
from one person. Um, so how do you get that is the next
Right.
thought. Um,
So that actually is a good segue into my next question, which is, obviously we don't like to talk politics on our podcast, but one of the things that I think is also really important is how you've been able to interact with Congress and just the politics around all of
mhm,
this.
yeah.
So I'm curious a little bit if you could give our listeners a little bit of backstory on
Yeah.
kind of what that's looked like for you as well.
Um, that's another step I took. And I've only done it twice now, and it was in the virtual years of sort of post-pandemic life, where these organizations all come together and then collectively will go to DC, usually in person. I think they're now back to in person, and walk the halls of Congress and Senate, asking for funding for different,
Yeah.
acts and things like that fund
Hmm.
these research trials and everything. And so I took part of in that. I think it was 2021 and 2022 that I did that. And that's something that I'm looking to actively get more well, active in,
Yeah, right.
because it is such a crucial component of this. It is why I'm as political as I am. I think people are surprised by that. They go, "Where did this come from?" It started here,
Yeah.
because it was me sort of putting all the pieces together of, okay, I want this thing to change. How do you get it to change? Okay, yeah, we can ask my friends for money, and that's an amazing thing. But if you can go to the source of where this policy actually creates change, and we can get that money from uh, the government entities and that sort of thing, even better.
Yes.
And again, it takes both of those things sort of coming together, but the big impacts kind of come from a policy level too, and a government
Yeah.
funding, which again is only, I don't know. So I did research this today. It says that it's still 4% of funding goes to the NIH for pediatric cancer research. I am not 100% sure on that, just given what the past year has
Yeah.
been. Um, I mean, there were cuts across the board, so I don't know if that 4% still holds up, but 4% is tragically low.
Yeah.
If it is any lower than that, it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
These kids, again, we should have said this probably at the top of the show, but like pediatric cancer is so much more different than adult cancers too.
Yeah.
I think there's 27 different kinds. And they're certainly not getting them due to smoking or drinking, or
Right.
they're kids, they're babies.
Yep. Yeah.
Like they're not doing anything that's causing these cancers. Um,
Correct.
and so to kind of give them the best opportunity to go forward, you will have to kind of research all of these very individual cancers too. Some
Yes.
of them have seen some really great progress over the years, where they're seeing a lot more success and a lot more um, longevity in those cures. Some we're still having to chip away at and learn more about. And
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is that people get very nervous when they hear about the new thing, rightfully so. Um, but realize that like the research, and like if a new medicine came out today, the research has been happening for
Yes.
many years, if not probably
Yes.
decades. And so all of this funding has gone into whatever tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
But these kids, when we're able to really, better treat their cancers, um, I mean, I think the life difference is like 70 years or something like that at St. Baldrick's. They have a great resource. Again, we'll link it in the show notes, of sort of just the things that you can expect to see when you're, putting money into something like
Yes.
helping kids battle cancer. Because
Yeah.
something else that they're going through is a lot of them are treated with adult radiations and chemos because a child's version isn't made for them. So
Yeah.
if you think about like if you went into a store to get your kid Tylenol, or any medicine, pick your favorite
Right.
one. You're going to pick the kids version,
Yes.
if you have a
Yes.
child, right? Some of these folks don't have that luxury because it doesn't exist.
Yep.
So these little bodies are going through the adult forms of that, which of course leads to secondary issues and cancers and things like
100%.
that. So
Yeah.
all of this sort of comes together to really pushing the whole story and the narrative forward of, um, the more we can do from a fundraising perspective, again, both from policy and, government and, just us on the ground here, um,
100%.
the better it'll be for kids long term, for sure.
Yes.
Um, the
Yes.
other thing I like to tell people is if you think about like breast cancer and what that looked like back in the 80s,
Oh yeah.
uh, we lost my grandmother to that. It was a death sentence back then. Um, and to today, where there's so many options for people and much more awareness and, campaigns and different
Yeah.
things to remind people to get their preventative testing and all of that. Um, it's so much progress has happened
Oh
in
yeah.
our lifetimes for that. So we
Yes.
need to do the same thing for kids.
Yeah. No, and you're so right. And all of that is made possible, right, by the research. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I want to kind of double click into is you talked a little bit about like the NIH funding and like how that all works. So because I used to work at the University of Washington within the Office of Research, just a little education tidbit for everyone that's kind of watching and listening. Um, One of the things that people don't understand is when they say, "Oh, I gave $100, to this organization to go towards research." Typically, it doesn't become $100 because once that organization takes their piece out and then it finally goes to the actual, researcher and his or her team, their
Yep.
team that are actually going to go through it, that money slowly but surely starts to diminish. So if you can imagine $100 going towards, St. Baldrick's, which St. Baldrick's
Mm-hmm.
actually has one of the lowest, kind of upfront what they take out
Yep.
versus what they put into the research.
Mm-hmm.
But within an administrative, in the university, when they go through all of these research, it's something like between 25 and 45%
Yeah.
goes for that research administration. So, you're almost losing about 50 cents on the dollar just for the people that actually have to do the work.
Yep.
So when you kind of think of it a big picture, it's important to kind of note that. And that's why the research dollars do need to be so big, because it's not just about doing the research, but it's also
Yeah.
about funding and helping support the people that are actually going to do the
Yep.
thing to find the cure. So
Your
it,
scientists, your doctors, your
exactly.
yeah, there's so many amazing professionals that go behind research that,
Yes.
I wish I could do stuff like that. Obviously, I cannot, because I
Yeah.
am not that smart.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's why
but that's
all
why
of
I'm on
our
this side of
education, yes.
it.
And see, that's why it's like we all have these wonderful hats that we get to
Hmm.
wear, right? Like it's like I get to be the amplifier of the wonderful things that you're doing, and you get
Yeah.
to kind of lead the force and do that. Meanwhile, our researchers and people that are just so intelligent in ways that I can't even comprehend, get to focus on that,
Yep.
so that everyone else. So I know I'm the timekeeper, but we're
I know.
about 8 minutes left. So we're going to kind of drive through a little bit for some of this stuff, but I want to kind of drive in or dump into like what's next. So like what are you doing right now? So let's talk about what are you doing at this instant for St. Baldrick's and kind of like what's next? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, right now we are gearing up for our head shave on the Saturday, the 21st of March here. So that's sort of the focus of this week and Saturday. And then even next week, it'll be sort of the bald side of it,
Yep.
as I call it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and then I think after this, this year, so this year is year 9 of me shaving. My dad and John have been going even longer than that. We're actually going to take a break from head shaving, which might come as a as a like the audience in the background. I don't know. I think everyone's gotten really used to this part of what we're doing, and
Yes. Yeah.
I want everyone to hear me. None of that stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's similar to like when I no longer photograph the events. It's just a step into a different direction.
Yeah.
And that is it is intentional for one, a little bit of a break. I've been doing this. I had a friend who was like, "You've been doing this for 10 years." And I'm like, "I've been doing this for 16." She's like, "Oh my God, take a break." So it's a little bit of that. But it is also a little bit of I have been spending a lot of time thinking about how we build the future and what that looks like and how we do more efficiently and better
Yeah.
and it's been really tough this year personally to ask my friends who are some of them struggling very much in this environment in this world to ask them for even $5
Yeah.
which is sort of my bread and butter here.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't have big donors here and so um, I don't know if people picked up on that. Like I was much quieter almost really through January even. And
Yeah.
I really had
Yeah.
to like kick it into drive in February. Um, and our goal this year is even a lot lower than it usually is. And that's because of just the environment we're
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And so still keeping that going. The link will always work to donate. But as I'm looking towards the future, it's I can be a pretty loud voice on the top of the mountain. And
Yeah.
so if someone has to go to DC and ask for more money from the billionaires and the powers that be, I'm happy to do that. And so that's
Right.
something I'm going to be looking into doing more of, just so that we can get these kids absolutely everything we possibly can.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's next, I think. I also think people think I want to grow my hair out, and it's actually the opposite. Um, if you
I feel
know
like
me, you
now I've got to
know
shut this real quick. But no, I feel like ever since
you're
I've
getting
just got so
sidelined
much
there.
sunlight because it's sunset coming. But no, I now that I've seen you with short hair, I can't imagine you ever again with long hair.
No, I don't think I'll ever have long hair again. I do not miss that at all, not even a little bit. No.
Yeah.
I actually would just want to keep the buzz cut for a lot longer. I usually go through a phase where it's a buzz cut up until about July, and then it starts to grow, and then
Yeah.
there's a whole like grow out phase because I need something
Yeah.
to shave off every March. And I really just want to keep the buzz cut for a hot minute,
Yeah.
and not have really anything to worry about until my head. And so yeah, so that's a little bit of a part of it too. It's like I don't actually want to have any hair for a
Right.
while.
Right.
Yeah, because like this is too much hair. It's just such a pain. I don't want to deal with
I
it.
I get it.
I know, but at least you could do a ponytail. Like I can't. I'm like, how do I? I can do
But
little
man,
pigtails, but
yeah. I mean, as long as it's off my neck and I have my
hmm
forehead, I'm normally pretty good. But um
yeah,
that aside, no, it's a really, really important time, for nonprofits and all of these, organizations that are doing so many things that are so good for like our kids, right? Like these
hmm
kids need this. And
yeah,
it's not like they get the option. They really do need this. So I think one of the other things, and I don't know if Five Calls, I know that app that we have to call our
yeah.
local representatives. I don't know if there's anything in there on children's cancer research,
That's
but
a good question. I
um,
don't think I've seen anything in that.
yeah, I was gonna say,
But it,
but if it doesn't, I
yeah,
mean, literally, you can pull up Five Calls and it'll
yeah,
tell you exactly who you should call and the phone number and all of
yeah.
those things.
I can put those numbers in the show notes for you all
Yes,
too.
we will definitely put that.
For your
But
Congress people.
exactly, exactly.
And that
But no,
season I think
this,
is coming up. That's another part of like so the going to like DC part of it I think happens in April and it like overlays sort of our normal shave time.
yeah,
Um almost exactly. So I think that I want to say that's coming up in the next few weeks too. So I'll
yeah,
make sure to research that and get all the links and stuff and information below for people who want to donate, but then also call and support
yes,
and speak to your representatives about supporting the particular acts that they're,
Yeah.
putting up for funding this year. Yeah, and then obviously feel free to reach out and ask questions, and
Yeah.
if there's something specific that we haven't covered here, I am pretty much an open book when it comes to this story. So I don't think there's a part of it I haven't told you, except the part we just went over. So that'll be the highlight.
Right. Yes. I was gonna say the jaw
And drop
dropping
that
moment
actually.
at the end.
Yeah.
But
Team Live Out Loud is taking a break.
yes, yes. Which, sometimes it's like people take vacations and
Yes.
and they do what are those things called where someone will take
Oh,
something from work.
not a hiatus.
Whatever that
Shoot.
thing is called. Where it's
Yep.
like you're still employed, you're just on
Mm-hmm.
blah,
It's
whatever
right
that thing
there.
is.
It's like right
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
But
But
exactly that.
anywho,
We'll look it up. We'll ask Google what
yes,
that word is
yes.
that we're thinking of. And then
Yeah.
we'll put that in the show notes too.
Exactly. But thank you everyone for just jumping in on our Podcasthon, specific topic on St. Baldrick's and just everything Casie's been doing with her team, Live Out Loud. And Casie, thank you. I feel like I
Yeah,
have
thank
to
you.
I mean, I know this is like normal, but like just thank you for everything you do and for the kids and just for the families that you give hope for and just all of that because it really does matter. So even though it feels cheesy saying that to you but I feel like I have to say it out loud because sometimes, you know, maybe it's like one of those things where if you don't say it out loud, then you feel like like you've got this pent up whatever. So, but no,
I hear you.
but yeah,
No thanks needed though.
yes,
Someone's got
yes.
to do it.
Well,
We all have a thing we can do. So this is my thing.
exactly, exactly. Well, as we close out with less than a minute, thanks everybody for joining us.
Yes.
And tune in next week for our
See you
next
on the bald
podcast
side.
where Casie will be bald.
Come back for that.
Exactly.